Hello everyone and welcome to Masterclass BC. Today we're speaking with the accomplished jazz trumpeter and vocalist Anita Eccleston, and she's currently living, teaching, and performing in Vancouver BC and has just released her new self-titled album.
Scarlet scribbles on an overdone page lead me to wrap myself in shame. Rip these thoughts out of my head. Take these dreams and have them withstand riotous ramblings from an overgrown boy. Nothing matters now, only his new toy. Scarlet scribbles on an overdrawn page leave me to wrap myself in shame.
Hi Anita.
Hello.
Congratulations. You just did your CD release party in November, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. And did you have it at a specific venue in Vancouver that you like to perform at? Or?
Yeah, well, it was my first time performing at this venue. It's called the Cosmic Zoo, also known as the Hennessy Dining Lounge. So it's a double name type of place, but it's a good venue for jazz artists nowadays.
Cool.
Yeah.
And for people who don't already know you, like, how would you describe your typical sound or how you sound on your new album?
Well, this album here is actually a compilation album of recordings from the last 8 years. One recording session was a trio. We did 2 tracks, jazz. We recorded them in my living room in Montreal.
Oh, cool.
That was in 2003, and then in 2004 we did 4 tracks with a full quartet in Montreal at McGill's Studio A. And then I was recording with my band here in Kamloops some new tracks for the next release, and we decided to do some more jazz. And so I'd have some recordings from 2010 with my Kamloops lineup, which is really neat. So putting them all together and getting them mastered and pressing the CD was a real adventure for me. But it's cool. It's all jazz standards.
Oh, cool.
And it sort of touches base with the traditional side of my love of jazz, really.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And you're singing and playing trumpet on.
Yeah. I play trumpet on 5 of the tracks. So
cool.
Yeah.
Now, so you did go to McGill for schooling, right? You
Yeah.
did your jazz program and performance for trumpet.
Mm-hmm.
The program is really well known. How would you describe your time there? Like, what was it like?
Well, when I went there, I wasn't sure what to expect. I've heard that big schools like that can be really competitive and people can mess with each other's heads and stuff. And I got there and I was totally surprised that it was really supportive. Everyone was really encouraging. You know, my first time playing in front of basically the whole jazz program was, you know, the combo jam where everyone gets together and just jams with each other and then picks groups and forms groups for the year. And I had the 4th years cheering me on, and I was like, whoa,
That's
that's amazing, yeah.
Nice
I didn't expect that. Yeah, exactly. So it was really encouraging, and it was really stimulating, too. I mean, they've got an incredible staff of teachers and musicians that gig all over the Montreal scene and stuff like that are the faculty. So it's great.
Cool.
You get to play and learn from the heavyweights.
True musicians.
Oh, yeah. There are guys that have been doing it since the 70s.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So to get in, is it really competitive? Like, what's the audition process like to get in?
Well, being from out west here, I had to send in an audition CD, so I had to do my first recording when I was like 17 years old, and I went to Doug Perry's studio, and and he helped me out, and we recorded 3 tracks, and there was some scales and some more practical like classical type stuff and songs, and which was cool. You sort of show them all the best that what you can do. And you don't have to be amazing to get in. You just have to really love it and really be passionate about it. And truth be told, I only made it into the faculty program for first year. So I had to audition at the end of my first year to get into the jazz program.
Oh, really?
But luckily, they knew the whole time that I had planned on doing that. So they let me take the extra jazz courses in first year, so I didn't miss anything.
Okay.
And I wasn't the only one that did it, and I wasn't the only one that made it, too. Because once you're there, you're integrated and it's really intense, and as long as you practice and pay attention and are dedicated, just it rolls, you know.
So for students who are planning to try and get into McGill, are there things you would give them some advice on what it's going to be like when they're in the program?
Well, in terms of being in the program, it's like an incredible chance to meet people and make connections that you'll probably use for the rest of your life. Yeah. So it's definitely worthwhile to go to a school that has such a vibrant and dynamic array of people that come from all over the place to go there. To get in, you know, it's really just about practicing hard and listening to a lot of jazz. Not enough people listen to jazz. So if you really want to play jazz, you have to like listen to jazz form, your favorite artists, figure out what you like, what you don't like. If you like everything, you know, focus in on different people at different times and you know, get passionate about it.
And so at the end, most music programs, you have this big final performance to do, right? Mm-hmm. So for jazz, what do you have to do for your final concert?
It's funny actually. They didn't. There was no requirement for a recital in the undergraduate program. It was actually for the master's program. You have to do a full recital, but you have to do 3 practical exams during your degree. The first one's pretty easy. You just have to know one tune and play a couple of etudes and some scales and stuff like that. The second one is more elaborate. All of a sudden, you have to know 30 tunes, 15 of which they pick. So they're actually pretty tough jazz standards on that list. Okay. Some of them are like almost unplayable, so you work your butt off learning them. And then for the final exam, you add 10 more post-60s tunes. So it's the jump from the first exam to the second exam is actually more difficult than the second to the third, I think, because you're already kind of most of the way there by the time you get to the fourth exam. But it's still very hard.
It sounds challenging.
You have to do those tunes. They basically pick 3 or 4, so you have to know everything, and you have to play whatever one they pick, and then you have to do a transcription. Transcriptions are another thing I would suggest that younger players thinking about going into the program start with earlier. It's you write down someone's solo, like a Miles Davis solo, and you learn how to play it and memorize it, and basically that gives you phrasing and inflection in your style that you normally wouldn't have without having boatloads of experience.
Mm-hmm. So at least by the time you get out of the program, you know a lot of tunes. Mm-hmm. You know how to play pretty much everything.
Yeah, well, you know the theory behind it all. Like one of my goals was to figure out what John Coltrane was doing, and I figured it out. I'm not sure how I feel about it now, but there's some things harmonically that he was exploring some territory that was different for the ear to understand, and it always baffled me as a young person. And we decoded it in my improvisation classes. So it's just that it's very hard to play because it's not as natural feeling as say your average jazz progression.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you're making the students think a bit about what the performers were all trying to do in their time.
Yeah, well, the cool thing about jazz is it was constantly being reinvented and developed and innovated. Miles Davis was one of the big proponents of that. Like he definitely pushed that a lot. He never wanted to repeat himself. And Coltrane, of course, worked very closely with Miles. I went away. I never wanted to see your face again.
If you're really wanting to get into performing in a city like Vancouver or really anywhere, is there a certain way you should go about getting your performance name out there, getting into the jazz performing scene?
Yeah, I'd say there's a few critical things. Like networking is probably the most important thing, like knowing the right people, being really active and just getting out there and doing it. Making a demo as soon as possible that you can hand out for people to listen to, and just having it available, and just believing in what you're doing. Being active is the best way to get your name out there. And also, one of the things they didn't teach me at McGill was just all about marketing and about what do they call it? Publicity. All those sides of things where you have to push your product and push your name, and that's something that does get a little neglected in music school, because music school is all about the music. When I graduated, I didn't know the first thing about the music business. So I've learned a lot over the last few years just from trying to build up a base of fans and supporters as well as ensembles and experience.
Yeah, on your own.
On my own.
The whole time on your own.
Yeah, luckily the internet is there, and whatever you want to know, you can read about. And that was how I figured out how to do my jazz CD. I didn't know how to legally cover a song, so I had to do a lot of research and figure out how to get the licensing so that I could do it, like sell the CD legally and own the rights to the songs. And it's always worth it because it's actually not that expensive to do. And like if you just work out a simple budget for yourself, it's affordable. And then you have a product, and that's merchandise is something that's really big for artists. You make more money doing that than you do gigging.
Oh, okay, something to keep in mind for everyone then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, make sure you push your own product. Right?
Yeah. Speaking of which, I did bring a CD here just to show. I collaborated with a few friends of mine. One was a designer. She helped me get the design going on this thing. And
cool. So this is the newest one.
This is the first album. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The second one is in the works. It's mostly finished recording, but I'm still finishing some of the tracks, just a couple of them. And then will come the designing and the pressing. The next album is going to be all original songs, so I won't have to worry about the mechanical licensing of the tracks that I don't own, because I'll own all of the songs, which will be lovely.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll have to go through the same process of mixing and mastering and pressing and design and everything. But having done it once, it doesn't seem so daunting now.
Well, a good thing to keep in mind is you can't just go and record someone else's music and put it out there for sale, right? You've got to be really careful about all those things.
Yeah, there's the deal with copyright is simple but important. It's interesting with the age of downloading how much that gets infringed upon.
Yeah.
It's ethically it's nice when people are willing to actually buy a CD, especially like an independent artist CD.
Yeah.
Every dime that went into this one is mine, so the return is eventually it'll pay itself off. I'm confident about that, and actually it's nice to have something out there. That's my CD.
So for live jazz in Vancouver, if someone was to go down there, I want to see some live jazz, what are the best venues to go check out?
Well, first off, there's always the Jazz Cellar, Corey Weed's Jazz Cellar. That's a great place to see a lot of really established artists down there. I was just there last week, and I saw a neat group that does a monthly gig there. They were playing all kinds of Middle Eastern type music, but it was cool. It had like a gypsy element to it. It was a real mix of sounds. But I think besides the Cellar, which is more of your high-end place, there's the Cosmic Zoo, which is where I played. It's a neat little club. There's also, of course, the Fairmont. They have, I think, regular jazz at the
like at the hotel.
At the hotel, yeah. And there's O'Doul's, and it was neat. And at Jazz Fest this summer, I went down. My goal was to meet people and see a show every day. And I saw many shows every day. And one of the things I did was I went to O'Doul's, which is actually a part of a hotel as well. And it's a nice restaurant where they have jazz all the time there.
On Robson Street, right?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. And I went in there, and it was really neat because we knew that Wynton Marsalis was playing that night, and he's a long-time hero of mine.
Yeah.
Since I was a little kid, I was listening to him. He's part of the trumpet influence on me. And I got a chance to meet him.
Really?
Yeah, he showed up and jammed a little bit, and I got to meet him right before he jammed, and it was incredible meeting one of my favorite artists of all time,
So they're bringing huge artists into the Jazz Festival.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he didn't have to go jam. He just finished his big show with his band at the Orpheum, but they, the whole band came down to jam. So I was thinking about playing that night, but once I saw the talent in the room, I realized there'd be no time.
Yeah.
And there wasn't. It was amazing. The players, everybody who was somebody in the city that night was there. So it was really incredible. Everyone wanted to just get amongst it, you know.
Oh, cool.
So it was packed, and the music was stellar. One of the hardest tunes from that list I was talking about earlier, they played it. They jammed on it. I was like, what? Stablemates? Really?
The most amazing people ever playing all together.
Yeah, exactly. Just a bunch of stellar musicians at the Coast. And once again at the Coast, it's, you know, it's a certain number of people are gigging regularly. Some people are working at it. Some people are at a higher level. Some people are still gaining experience. Like, I'm still so new there that, you know, I have to make everything happen when I make it happen. But the cool thing is it's possible. You know, just like here in Kamloops, I've been able to build relationships with the club owners and do the bookings and get everything going. For myself, you know, you just have to get out there and do it. And not get bogged down thinking, oh, I'm not good enough. You know, you know what? If you love what you do, believe in yourself, and anything's possible.
Cool. Well, do you have big plans for the coming year, or just focusing on playing a lot of stuff from your album?
Well, for now, I'm planning a show next month here in Kamloops. Actually, a CD release party here in Kamloops to give all my Kamloops friends and
to come check it out.
Yeah, for sure. We're gonna have fire spinning just like we did in Vancouver on Broadway. And besides that, for this coming year, I've got plans to finish the original LP. So it's just a couple more recording sessions, and then mixing and mastering and pressing and all that. And then after that, I want to plan a tour with the music of the original music. And then it's funny because right now I'm currently actually writing songs. I've already got my sights set on the third project, so I'm writing songs.
Ahead.
Yeah, I'm writing songs right now for the next recording session, or the next CD really. So that's 2 albums from now. But once you get started, you just kind of want to keep doing it, because you only get better at what you do, and you learn so much as you go along. So.
True. And do you have a website where we can find your concert dates and all that sort of stuff?
Yeah. There's a www.anitaeccleston.com. Also, probably the most direct way these days. I'm still figuring out my website stuff, but there's the Facebook fan page, and that's it's Anita Eccleston Jazz. And if you go there, then you'll get invited to every event that is happening in your local area, as well as you can easily see what's going on, where I'm going to be, and what I'm doing. And, you know, if I'm in the studio, I'll let you know. And I also I like to build up personal relationships with people that are interested in what I'm doing, because
for sure.
Yeah, it's all about cultivating relationships with people.
Well, thanks so much for taking time to come see us. I know you got a really busy weekend here in Kamloops during your visit.
Yeah.
So thanks very much.
Thank you.
Be sure to come to your release party here in town.
Yeah. February 11th. It'll be great.
February 11th.
Yeah.
We'll have a date up on the site.
Yeah, totally.
Well, thanks everyone else for watching. Make sure you check out our website. It's actually masterclassbc.com now. And if you go to the site, you can sign up for our monthly newsletter. And you can check out all of our upcoming music stuff.
Oh, where do I go? Oh, where do I do?